with CBC veteran BrainTrust think tank, Ron Armstead, and Dr. Cathy Bennett-Santos. As you know, February is African American History and also American Heart, a Healthy Heart Month. And we want to continue that. It is mid-month now, so keep that in mind. As I said, I'm Cliff Kelly. Our executive producer is Glenda Smith, and our digital media producer is Manny Corazari. We want to talk about some important things. Well, we always do. Come on, we know that. First, let me welcome our guest, Ron Armstead, veteran and visionary founder and executive director of Veteran BrainTrust. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you, Cliff?
Good, Ron. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, we are joined by Dr. Cathy Bennett-Santos, veteran, author, and founder of the National Alliance for Women Veterans, Inc. I want to thank her being here. Doc, thank you so much.
The honor's all mine, sir.
Oh, you're kind. You're kind. Thank you so much. Let's start off with you, Doc. Tell us what we need to know. The founder of the National Alliance for Women's Veterans. There's so much that needs to be talked about relative to this. Can you help us out a little bit?
Well, sir, this is Black History Month, and I'm so excited about where we are in celebrating Black history with regard to the veterans. Here in Philadelphia, of course, we are presently celebrating the Vietnam 64. They were 64 Philadelphians who attended one school here, the Edison High School. And they are paying tribute by establishing a development here where they are housing veterans in that particular school, and they're going to be having a grand opening next week. So I thought that was worth noting, the recognition that Philadelphia has given to that area of our history for Vietnam veterans, but particularly that this particular school had more veterans to die during the Vietnam War in any particular school during that era. I thought that was very important to note today.
Certainly. I think and we appreciate, Doctor, you telling us that. That is very interesting. That's in Philadelphia.
That is correct, sir.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing that the sensitivity towards that has united veterans from across all war eras, just knowing in Philadelphia that they are just demonstrating support. This particular facility is housing low-income veterans where they can have some independence. Also within this facility, they will also have all types of activities where the veterans themselves can be enriched. And I think this is going to move Philadelphia forward in a good way. Also during this month, for the past 2 weeks, there have been a play here. It's called The General, where they're actually depicting the life of Harriet Tubman. So there's a lot of energy generating around our community. And this particular sold-out play here, where they're talking about beyond her military history, but they're really showing the life and the substance of who Harriet Tubman really was. On the tale of the movie that actually enlightened our community across the globe on Harriet Tubman and what it took to bring many of those that she brought to freedom across many terrains into, I guess through what they call the Underground Railroad.
Right. Dr. Santos,
yes,
listen, you're saying that is so meaningful, and particularly now because she, as you know, was the first congressionally declared woman veteran to receive a full pension for service during the Civil War.
Absolutely, sir. And we must recognize that was by Congress in 2005. In 2005, she was congressionally declared a woman veteran to receive posthumously her pension. And I think that's important to note in our history today, that she was recognized as a woman during the Civil War by a general. And all that she had done for the community of African Americans, she still was recognized in such a prestigious position in our military community. As a war, she was recognized. She was a declared spy and a patriot during that period.
A
so
spy,
I think that is very important.
a nurse and a spy. Isn't that something?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, doctor, that is just that is a wonderful thing, without a doubt. So here, Doc, this is something that everybody ought to know, and this is the time to let everybody know it, that's for sure. So we have on our line, speaking of great ladies, Congresswoman Beatrice Johnson, Texas 30th Congressional District, serving her 14th term. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you very much.
It's a real pleasure to have you on, particularly now. You're the first African-American woman to chair the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology, and is the Dean of the Texas Congressional Delegation, in addition to serving as Dean of the Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona Democratic Congressional Delegation. You have done so much, as you continue to do. Help us continue to understand exactly what is so important relative to our veterans.
Well, of course, I feel we would not have a democracy without our veterans, without all of the people who've been willing to leave home, leave their loved ones, put on a uniform, and go anywhere in the world they're sent to preserve the democracy in this country and to try to spread democracy around the world. That is a very high calling.
It certainly is. Yes. One of the things that we want to mention, too, you have a real connection with honoring Dorie Miller, correct?
Yes. Dorie Miller was from Waco, Texas.
Yes.
And I was from Waco, Texas. And I have worked very hard to get what I feel will be the only real honor he could get. Of course, he's been honored in many ways. His name is well known throughout the country, but he still does not have the Medal of Honor. Now, when I was a little girl, the news came to Waco, and at that time we didn't have a great variety in news, and especially in Waco. But it hit every radio station, front page of the paper, that he had picked up a machine gun and shot down Japanese invading planes and saved this country from war on its shores at Pearl Harbor. And that was big, big news for Waco, continues to be. The only time I met him that I can remember in person is when he came home shortly after that. By the time he got there, I had walked with my father throughout the neighborhood to collect money to get him a gift.
Wow.
I remember the gift was an identification bracelet that my father had engraved with his name. The only time I can actually recall seeing him is when he got out of the car and walked to where we were having this reception. It was the YWCA, the Black Girls YWCA in Waco, Texas, on the corner of Cherry and Garrison Street.
That is something. Now, you mentioned the Medal of Honor, of course. We're still fighting that. But what was your feeling and the people in your district about the aircraft carrier?
Was an identification bracelet. I'm sorry, about what?
About the aircraft carrier.
Oh, well, everyone is very pleased about the aircraft carrier. It is an ultra-modern, multi-billion-dollar aircraft carrier. We're all very pleased with all of the recognition he has received, but as I said then, it is still not the Medal of Honor.
Right.
Which is the highest honor of a military participant, and that's what I feel that he deserves, in addition to everything that has happened. He had a ship commissioned once before, and the commission ran out. And so I'm delighted that many of the people in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, helped to make that possible. We push for more recognition for him. The acting Secretary of the Navy has promised me he would look at the file one more time. We have been examining what was available to us for the last 28 years that I've been in Congress.
Yeah,
And we'll continue to push for the Medal of Honor.
I know you will. Well, they've always said, Congresswoman, that you are one of the most effective people on the Hill, and you've been able to do many, many things. You have a reputation as being a statesman who works with both parties to get things done, a reputation earned during your more than 40 years in public office. And we certainly think, the work that you have done in authoring or co-authoring more than 177 bills that were passed by the House and the Senate and signed into law by the President, you know what you're doing. So if anybody...
Well, let me say that when I ended my 26th year at the end of the last Congress, I had been in there 26 years, and I'd only been in the majority 6 of them. My first term that I went, which was the first term of President Clinton, then the last term of President Bush, and the first term of President Obama were the only times that I've been in a majority. So it was imperative to get anything done. You had to work across the aisle.
Sure.
And so I was not going to be in Congress and not get anything done, so I just started trying to do that.
Well, you certainly have. Tell us, before we let you go, what are the chances now? Where are we standing with the Medal of Honor for him?
Well, I don't know. We introduced another resolution. Names are coming on. As a matter of fact, right now we have as many Republicans as we do Democrats. We just have not sent it out to accumulate. But these are people who come to me and ask me to put their names on it. So we've never been short of getting the support. What the problem we've run into, it is a rule that you cannot even have a hearing on a military Medal of Honor unless the secretary of that branch of government gives you permission. We've never been able to get the permission from the Navy. And I've worked with every secretary of the Navy since I've been in Congress. I've worked with every president since I've been in Congress. And I want to tell you that Congressman Dingell Sr. from Michigan started back in 1941. His son, Congressman Dingell Jr.,
yes,
who served over 50 years and died last year, also introduced. Then Jake Pickle, who was a congressman for the area of Waco and Austin at the time. Then Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. Then Congressman Craig Washington and Mickey Leland, all before me, introduced it but couldn't get it to go anywhere. I've introduced it several times. I've been doing this now. I'm in my 28th year, and I'm still going to try because I truly believe he deserves it.
Well, I certainly do too, Congresswoman, and you're doing such a great job. Just continue to do that, and of course, we will certainly.
Congresswoman Johnson is splendid. Cliff Kelly's executive producer. How are you? Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, did he leave?
Congresswoman Johnson, can you hear me?
We can hear
Yes,
you.
I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. How are you? Welcome back to the show.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
no,
We're still here. We're still here. I had given Cliff something as he was talking. We have 2 receipts showing that on behalf of Cliff Kelly and America's Heroes Group, we too have been working in concert with you. We've mailed in 2 requests over the last 3 years, requesting, starting with President Barack Obama, to award him the award that you're asking about. And we also sent another request to President Trump. So we've been working in concert with you to try to get this taken care of. And we're willing to do whatever it takes from this show to help you do that.
Well, thank you very much. We have organized almost this entire country. We have a number of historians that have put themselves on our committee.
Yes, ma'am.
A number of college presidents. We have resolutions from numerous city councils around the country. So there are a lot of people, and there are quite a few Dorie Miller posts.
Yes, ma'am.
Around the country. And
Absolutely.
we get mail from them. So we do have the support.
Yes, ma'am.
We just need to get through the legal part of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. You're doing a great job.
Thank
We
you
appreciate-
so much, and have a great day.
And you too. We've been talking so much about that, which, of course, is justified. Ron Armstead, veteran and visionary founder and executive director of Veteran and BrainTrust, is also with us. Ron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Tell us what this does. This organization. This is important.
Well, I want to stay on the theme of what Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson just talked about, this Dorie Miller thing.
That's okay. That's fine.
Clearly, Dorie Miller, in my humble estimation, is a part of the unfinished business of the 20th century, right? In terms of military history,
Agreed.
military acknowledgement,
Mhm.
and military lore,
Right.
all right?
I agree.
And it is imperative that we struggle and try to get this man the Medal of Honor. All right? Now,
Correct.
she didn't mention the legislation that she filed by name
Mm-hmm.
that she entered into this Congress. But I, as this being part of Black History Month, this being a part of them inviting her to Hawaii and telling her that they are getting ready to name an aircraft carrier. As you know, there was a ship, I think it was a destroyer escort, that they named after him that was decommissioned. And so this one, things are happening very slowly. Under the Obama administration, the VA hospital in Waco, Texas, was renamed the Dorie Miller VA Medical Center.
Great.
This year, they're naming an aircraft carrier after him.
Yeah. Which is
Now, those are two steps in the right direction, but the third step is the Medal of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Medal of Honor, which is long time overdue.
Well, I certainly
Over 50
agree.
years ago,
Yeah.
we had the attack on Pearl Harbor. Every December 7th, we celebrate Pearl Harbor Day. All right? And to a lesser degree, Dorie Miller. All right?
Yep.
We
Correct.
need to push. And I know that there are places in Chicago named after Dorie Miller.
Yep.
There's a Dorie Miller Post in Chicago. I think there's also a Dorie Miller housing complex in Chicago. So she is very accurate in saying there's widespread support for Dorie Miller.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's very true.
All right?
Take the call.
Very true. Let's take a call. Sal. Sal, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, go right ahead. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
One, I wanted to thank Congresswoman Johnson and to let her know that I'm in fairly close touch with one of her staff, Joseph Bishop Green, who has been sharing information with us. And I just wanted to thank her for the spirit that she has
That's
brought
great.
to this effort
Yeah.
here. In Chicago, we do have a Dorie Miller Post. It's the American Legion
Sure.
Dorie Miller Post 915.
Mm-hmm.
There is a grade school named after Dorie Miller, but no public housing development. There is one, however, in Gary,
Mm-hmm.
a Dorie Miller public housing development.
Right.
But we are looking forward to being in Waco for the Memorial Day weekend. I'm in touch with a Mrs.
We're at the end of the show, so we'll be getting back to you on that. Okay, we got to
Thank
go.
you very much.
Okay, and thank you. We know what you've done. 5:30. Stay with us. We'll be back with more. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.